It is private though, so I'll it's gonna be super rough, but let's go ahead and get this started. Alright, so this will be the system. Yes, and it had me go crazy. This is gonna be Fragged Empire. Now, for this setting specifically, humanity has died out about 10,000 years ago is when humanity has gone extinct, because they have spread to the stars. They have populated a big chunk of the galaxy, and through just peace and everything being very, very nice and very good, they became complacent. There is no longer any threat, no conquest, no danger. It was just kind of easy for humanity. And because of that, or at least maybe part of lore, because of that, they actually had genetic... Man, my mind is not working today. Degradation? That's what I'm looking for. Ooh, it's gonna be fun. Their genetics has pretty much been scrambled. They haven't been able to... Their population of humanity has been going down. Haven't been able to really populate worlds no more. Humanity, seeing this happen, decided to move at last minute all of their technology from advancing to worlds and just technology, all their influence into bionetics, and actually making another kind of race called the Archons. Giant blue-skinned individuals. And they made the Archons to go ahead and have the remnants to take over of humanity. Once humanity is... They knew that they're going to go extinct because of what happened. And so to take over the Empire, they built the Archons. So humanity goes extinct. Archons decide to not quite follow humanity's footsteps and focus on technology. They wanted to focus on bioengineering. So the Archons, with the technology of the humans, made thousands, possibly millions, of genetically engineered races with the goal to find the one perfect race. Now, in the midst of their genetic engineering, they've had some standouts and some that were bad. The ones that are bad were known as the Vargati, or now known as the Corporation. The actual most prized, or the ones they enjoyed the most, were actually the Kaltorans. They believed the Kaltorans were almost the pinnacle of their engineering. But then came the Xeon, which they dubbed the perfect race. In a lab, 12 Xeon individuals grown. But historians don't know why, or what caused them to remove that title. And no one knows what started it, but a fight broke out in the lab between the 12 Xeon and the Archon scientists. The end result was 11 of the Xeon died, and the 12th one was able to actually escape into a shuttle and fly through a 5-day harrowing pursuit into the edge of space, where he or she got away. With that, the Archons continued on their way to make the genetically engineered race for about 200 years, when the Xeon came back, or the one Xeon came back, with a created army at its back called the Nephilim. And the Nephilim waged a brutal genocidal war across the galaxy, with the sole intent of killing every single last Archon individual, which they did. Now, they also laid waste to pretty much everything the Archon created, that being the Kaltorans, the Vargati. In the last stages of the battle, the Archons built some races meant for war to protect them, that being the Legion, as well as the Zhao, but it was not enough. Now, when the last Archon fell, the young individual, still only one, never were able to breed or make another one as far as everyone knows. Once the last Archon was killed, he or she turned around and left the known galaxy. leaving its created army, the Nephilim, there without purpose, without leadership. But its task done, the entire galaxy was thrown back into pretty much the Stone Age because of this. It took 100 years, 100 brutal years for the races to claw back out from the Stone Age, which is where our game takes place. This is about 102 years after the end of the Great War, where 99% of the Archon races have been wiped off the map, wiped off the face of the galaxy, and the few surviving races have come out and realized they can't really support themselves. And so there's a tentative agreement to work together to improve and better themselves. The Nephilim threw away their bindings and their purpose to try to find a new purpose in the galaxy. The Legion, built as tools of war, now with no war, are trying to find honor and glory in making farms, making children. The Vargati, known as the bad son of the Archons, have found humanity technology and learned the concept of, greed, of capitalism. They renamed their race the Corporation, and they are a race that only wants to be greedy, wealthy, and show as much wealth as they possibly can. And then we have the remnants of the Kaltorans. In the war, the Kaltorans were driven to one last planet, their last stand, where they completely irradiated and nuked the entire planet and went underground during the war with the Nephilim and the Zeon. And in this, the war ended, and they were stuck in one underwater city. And for 100 years, they were afraid to go to the surface, because they were afraid the Nephilim and the Zeon were still there. So for 100 years, they were in the Stone Age pretty much, and had to resort to cannibalism. Now, the one genetic trait about the Kaltorans is that they inherit the memories of their parents. So every future generation knows and has the memories of their parents, of their grandparents, and their ancestors. So they all live to see and feel the effects of their race being at the top, to being wiped out by the Nephilim, to being barbaric and being scavengers and being cannibals in these unlit cities underwater. A small fraction decided to finally pierce the veil and go to the surface, almost expecting eradication, but when they got there, they were only greeted by the hails, the communications from the Corporation that were trying to find other races in the galaxy. So the Kaltorans have emerged from their dens. That was only 5 years ago. Everyone is now working together. Old technology is worth lots because, everyone lost everything. And so the only race that can build ships are the Corporation. Everyone else uses ships from before the Great War because, the technology in these ships are pretty much unknown, almost like magic now a little bit to the races because they don't know how to comprehend some technology. The Legion uses starships from the Great War, expertly maintained. These great machines of war have now been used for colonization, for farming. The Nephilim, the enemy of everyone else, their ships were still alive. They still have ships that were alive during the Great War. The Corporation, they were actually able to learn how to build starships, although rudimentary compared to the ones from the Great War. And then the Kaltorans, because of their inherent memory and what they know from ancestors, they're actually very, very good mechanics and professionals in any field of study because they know the memories of their ancestors. And so the Kaltorans took these ships that were pretty much submerged on their planets under the irradiated waste and the toxic water and started to cut them in half and slap them together. So Kaltoran ships are known to be made up of 3 to 4 different ships, but they work because, Kaltorans are expert mechanics because of their genetic trait. So now we come to our little story, so we get started. The 3 of you are on board a Kaltoran vessel known as the bucket tub. Because, well, it's a ship that is barely flying. Its fuel very low. Its sensors given sporadic pings to entities that are not there because it's not been maintained for some time. All of you were given this ship by an employer, a corporate individual on one of the moons in the Haven system, kind of the capital of the galaxy at the moment, where all the races kind of converged upon. And the sole task from this corporate individual is to go ahead and find technology to make him rich and to, well, let you all live a life and not be stuck in some backwater cave. So you have your ship, and your goal is to go ahead and, well, find technology. Because as we know, vessels before the Great War are, even though they might be hundreds of years old, even thousands of years old, they are much more advanced than current day ships or the current day scavenged vessels put together. So we come to our little story right now. Days ago, while you're orbiting a small moon, you're actually docked to do some minute repairs. You just had a brief scuffle with a pirate vessel that wanted to blow you out of the sky and steal your cargo. Although to them, they had no idea that you had no cargo in your ship at the moment because, well, you had a bad string of luck. So while you're on this little moon doing hasty repairs, your ship, by a sheer miracle or just crazy luck, intercepted a communication from a corporation vessel. Tight beamed, but for some reason it was very badly encrypted, and the resident mechanic, which I believe is Talia, was able to decrypt this little message saying, on the moon of Tycoon, which is roughly 4 days away, the corporation vessel, on a routine mission to harvest resources from asteroids, came across the wreckage of a Archon vessel on the surface of the planet Tycoon. But unable to investigate due to numerous problems on the corporation vessel, they requested assistance from their company, the mining experts, as we'll call them. And they are expecting to have a actual salvage team within a week coming from the Haven system. You, the crew of the tub, found your break. Because as you know, Archon technology is very, very well sought after, as well as if it'll be put to use, very nice. So your goal is to travel to the planet Tycoon to get there before the corporation and to gather a bit of technology, whatever you can find from the vessel itself.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone got it?
Yep. I got that written down at least.
Sounds good.
Alright, so.
Okay.
The ship, the bucket tub, which I actually have a picture of, we can actually show it now. This is the Kaltoran vessel. The bucket tub. On the gravity-less moon, easily take off. The ship itself kind of shaking beneath your feet, almost expecting to hear the popping or the banging of materials breaking apart, bulkheads snapping from insufficient screws to hold it together. But it does go off into space, and you plot a course towards the planet of Tycoon. Now, one great and very, very, very misunderstood technology created by humanity is that of ley lines. There is an event in humanity's past called the reality sundering. I have to find out what it's called, but something like that, where humanity somehow, either by accident or by... man, I can't think. Either by accident or by intention, they're able to break a tear into space and caused the realities of physics to not work as we understand. This is what allows ships to travel at faster than light speeds, FTL. This break in space has been leaking this energy through itself into the known galaxy, and ships use this energy, it absorbs energy into these drives to propel itself around the galaxy, as long as there's energy. Now, you plot the course, and after a couple days, you come out of, I don't know what the term they use, I don't know if it's hyperspace or what. Anyways, you come out of FTL, drive kicks out as you're thrown back into real space, and you see beneath you the planet of Tycoon. It is a giant ball of green. Immediately you can tell this seems to be a planet of just dense foliage and vegetation, trees. You can see a couple bodies of water, but this seems to be a planet that's uninhabited, which is not unusual because, well, there are numerous ruins around the galaxy because of the Great War between the Archons and the Xeon, the Nephilim. So, who is our pilot? Everyone go to character sheet, and the one who is trained in command in the personal combat section is going to be the pilot.
Nope.
I am.
I have engineering and gunnery.
So you are the guy that fixes the ship and blows stuff up.
I also have engineering, but I also have command.
Wait, personal combat?
Yep.
Go to the one where it says either command, engineering, gunnery, operations. This is all for ship. This is for ship stuff.
Go down on personal combat skills.
Is it the T?
Yeah, the T means you're trained. So
Okay,
in all your skills, in either the primary skills or the personal combat skills, anything that has a T in brackets means you're trained in it.
Okay, then I'm a trained commander.
There's some real quick. So Aragorn, or Aurelius, as he is known, is trained in command, also in gunnery.
Right.
So, between the two of you, Aurelius and Talia, who is piloting the tub?
I'm in the guns.
Who was the other one?
What was that?
Between
who's
you and, so you, Talia, or Aurelius, both of you are trained in command. What I want to know is who's the actual pilot right now? Who's in the pilot chair of the ship?
Oh, probably me then.
Yeah.
I got all kinds of training.
Yeah, you
Fantastic.
fly, I tell you where to fly. Deal?
Aurelius can be the co-pilot.
Yeah, is there like a skill or something for that, or?
Well, it's just it's the command is the pilot. So whoever is
Oh,
trained in
it's
command is going to be the pilot, pretty much.
Oh, okay, yeah, I got it.
So
I can fly it.
what I want to know is in this broken ship of yours that is leaking fuel, low on food, low on air, low on supplies, low on everything, hoping that the wreckage of the Archon ship on the planet of Tycoon is going to be your lucky break. Hoping that's going to be there. What do y'all wish to do before we proceed?
Can I ask, how long do I think it might take to try to at least patch that leak in the fuel? Like, even just long enough to hold us together.
It's been a bit finicky for the last month. You've tried numerous times, and you've gotten to the junction of the ship to find the leak, and the moment you fix the leak and stop it,
It just breaks in another part.
We could just regulate the power like we have been, and if we need to take it from the shields a little bit, we take it from the shields. Just, we move it around the ship. It's okay. We'll get there. Maybe.
I'm going to try to patch it one more time and regulate the power once more. It'll at least hold us together until we get... So, I'm gonna go down there and try to make a quick patch just to...
Alright, sorry. I don't know if you looked at chat, but my headset died on me, so...
Yup.
Oh, we heard.
Oh.
We heard.
Oh, okay. So I guess it makes a noise when it does that?
There's
And
a-
make some, like a like electronic noise.
Okay, so back to the question though that you were asking there, Talia. You have repaired the ship numerous times over the month, and this probably broke out. Every time you find a junction and possibly the leaking pipe, you patch it up, and then within a day, another piece of the pipe a little bit further down will rupture and leak. So,
Is there?
if you wish, you could try another repair for today.
Yeah, I'm gonna make an attempt just to see if I can't get this to hold.
All right,
itself
so
up.
this can be a little bit like Savage Worlds, where you're going to have a difficulty number that's kind of set. In this case, easy difficulty task will be the number 8 or more. Medium difficulty task will be the number 12 or more. Hard task is going to be 16 or more. And excruciatingly difficult task will be 16 or more. Now, for you, Talia, this will be a moderate task, because you have to go behind a couple of bulkheads, and you have to move some panels. You're kind of pissed off already because it's been happening for the last month. But let me check real quick if...
You see one of the repairs I did, and you just kind of scoff at it and push it aside.
Just like, God damn it, why are you touching my shit?
Yes,
I mean,
I
I
want
got
to
a +2 to it.
see if I'm actually still streaming correctly, because I can't hear my
Just like,
mic.
as Talia looks at it, she yells up, "Who the fuck's been touching my shit?"
You were asleep!
And you didn't just decide to wake me?
Better than the other one that you did.
Excuse me?
You know which one! The last one that broke.
You're never
No, the one
going
before
to
that one,
are
actually.
you?
Sorry that you did.
Sorry, what?
Ooh. Alright,
Make me come down there.
I mean, I assume we're just like yelling at each other from the...
I'm in the guttery station, so I'm expecting comms
yelling
of
at
some
each
sort.
other from the... I assume it'd probably be mechanics to fix this, but...
well, give me 1 second. I want to make sure my
I assume
mic is still
it'd probably be
working.
mechanics to fix this, but...
What's
Well,
your
give me 1 second. I want-
plus to
No,
engineering?
it is okay. Alright, so I'm good. Alright, sorry. Back to being here. Alright, so, yes, the task here is going to be medium. So, you go to kind of the bulkhead there, Talia. So, you wish to go ahead and repair it. So, before we roll, there are a couple things we want to look at. Some mechanics of the Fragged Empire setting. So, you have your base roll of just your skill of being trained in this through your life, but some rolls will require instruments. There are 3 stages of what we'll call tools. You have what's known as a tool kit, a toolbox, a workshop, and a dedicated workshop. Now, the best way to describe this to the 3 of you is we'll look at a medic. It'll be the easiest way to comprehend. Having a bandage on you will count as a toolkit. Having a first aid kit would count as a toolbox. Having a medical lab on your starship would count as a workshop. And having a pristine, top-of-the-line, fully integrated and stocked workshop would be a dedicated workshop. So, Talia, if you look at inventory, you should have a toolkit.
Yep.
All right.
I do. Well, for mechanics, I have a toolbox.
Fantastic. So, this grants you +1 to your roll. So what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and do +1 modifier on the bottom left.
I got dragged downstairs. I can't.
Oh, here, I'll just... on your character sheet, I'm going to go ahead and put in a mod +1.
Okay. And it's mechanics.
Right there. Do you see it on your sheet now?
Where at?
Under rolls, under the Board Core tab.
No? Wait, +1 to stuff.
Yes, so click on that. Then find your mechanics, and click on that. Fantastic, we're looking for 12. So, after some banging and... Actually, I forgot to describe the second part of what I needed to do, but we'll go with it next time. After some banging and finagling, you're able to stop the current leak. After a few moments, you go ahead and repressurize the system that goes from, we'll say, the tanks of the vessel, the fuel source, to the engine relay, and it pressurizes a little bit uncomfortably, but right now the leak has been stopped.
Alright, well, that's one problem solved. At least for now, until it breaks tomorrow.
You see the lights kind of brighten a little more, as they're getting full power now.
Talia is just kind of reminiscing because she knows that it's just gonna break tomorrow.
Alright, Beta, you are trained in engineering and gunnery. So, Beta, what do you wish to do, possibly?
From my seat, I'll watch the power and try not to give that section too much power, but just a little bit more than it had been because we were pulling it away from the leak. Now we can give it back there so it doesn't break in other places.
Fantastic. You do watch the engineering display on board the cockpit of the tub. You do see that everything seems to be pretty steady so far. You also turn your head towards the console that shows the operation. Since you are trained in gunnery, this ship does have several cannons on board. And you see that they are somewhat low in stock of ammunition. You're hoping to gather some technology or gather some research to refill your ammunition stocks when you go back to a civilized planet. But they're in working condition right now. Aurelius.
Yes.
You are in the co-pilot seat of the tub. As you look, you also have a display under the gunner. You see the same condition of the cannons, but to you, you also see that there is a swarm of Reaper bots aboard the ship. They are somewhat AI-controlled ships, drones, probably about the size of an itty-bitty vehicle that you could use on command to target other enemy vessels if you come across them. You're in control of that.
Hey.
Now, we don't have anyone right now because the other characters are being played, but if anyone in control operations, they would have control over the nuclear warheads this thing carries. Currently, 2 nuclear missiles.
I can
like
do that. I can do that. Sure. I want the nukes.
I mean, we have a gunner, like. And
So,
Hey,
I'll talk about real quick about a bit of the Starship stuff. So, command does revolve around piloting as well as controlling fighter squadrons, or in this case, drones. Engineering is obviously going to be for power supply, refueling the ship, repairing stuff, and getting things working stronger than they should be. Gunnery is for any type of banks of weapons, flak shells, munitions, cannons. Operations deals with warheads, ordnance. This could be volley missiles, nuclear warheads, torpedoes. That's what they control.
No nukes for me then.
So we'll
I
say
guess-
right now, the 2 nukes on board are like your last minute things.
Yeah, I guess since we have 2 people with command, I guess like the decision of whether or not to use those, since we don't have an operations person, would probably just go to us.
No, you could do it, but you can be a bit of a negative.
I mean, just like the decision to use them. You know?
Yeah.
Like, you have to have 2 keys to do it kind of thing.
Yeah, like
I
that.
So
We just.
you would know the guy who actually does control operations is the other character that's in selection, which is Lucas Vrenz. He's actually trained in command and operations. So we'll just say right now Lucas is just sleeping in his quarters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, on the bright side, we haven't had to get a lot of work out of him, thankfully. We're really like.
And he's a lazy corporation. I mean, he's corporation, so
Yeah.
they just want to be the epitome of laziness and being rich. So
Right.
he's putting that to the extent right now.
I don't really like talking to him very much anyway. He's pretty lazy. Anyway. And she's just gonna plop down on the commander chair and just kind of spin around to face the front of it.
You spin halfway, it locks up, it squeaks, some sparks fly out the bottom of the chair.
She kind of hops back out of it. It's just like, wow, great, yeah, everything is broken. And she just kind of tugs on it to try to get it straight.
After a brief moment, you hear a click. You probably think a bolt broke somewhere, but it does free up and it actually goes back into its normal position.
You know what? It's fine. It's fine. And she just sits down. I'll fix it later.
Alright, but the prize to you is on the planet's surface.
Yep. Oh, wait, we're already there?
No, you're in orbit right now.
Ah, alright.
You're in orbit around this the planet Tycoon, little green planet full of forest and vegetation.
Okay.
So, a couple of things we give to you is we can either start scanning for its location, or just head on to orbit to learn. How do you wish to find the wreckage of the Archon ship? Let me ask you that.
Is the scanner broken by any chance?
It is not.
Okay, one thing.
What benefit is there to go to orbit first?
Well, if you're in orbit, you can do sensor scans fairly easy than if you're in atmosphere. Only if you're in atmosphere, you could see a lot easier. You might need to do both.
Yeah, I think I want to do just like a preliminary scan from afar, and then if we don't find it, then we'll just go in.
All right. So, knowing how stubborn Lucas Ferenz is, and he can sleep abysmally long, you realize it would be kind of futile to wake him up to do the operation scan. So one of you is going to go to the console to scan the planet's surface with the sensors of the bucket tub of your ship.
Yep.
Who's going to do it?
Who's going to do it?
Am I not near it? Like, I thought it was like up here with me.
It's
Anyone if you
operation.
Huh?
Any one of you can, but
Yep.
didn't want you to roll yet.
Well.
But it's okay. We'll keep on going with it. Let's do this, because I do want to keep it up. You do a couple scans, and you realize that the scanner has been giving false readings for the last couple months. Also, the usual quality of the ship so far. And you get readings of some comets that are obviously not there. You get a reading of a Nephilim vessel, one of the behemoth vessels that kind of makes your heart skip for a moment before you realize where it's pointing at is not there. Another false reading. But after about an hour and a half of scanning, going around the surface of the planet in orbit, you do get the slight ping of a unusual metallic object within the soil of one section of a landmass on the planet's surface. Piques your interest.
Talia's just sitting there trying to steer the ship and just kind of vaguely leans her head back and is just like, "So, you found anything yet? We've been doing this for, like an hour and a half?"
Maybe. It's possible it's something out of place right over there, and kind of point at the subject section of the planet. I think we should do a scan in orbit of that place.
Alright, gotcha. I'll take her in. I'll just go ahead and try to bring it closer.
Okay, so you wish to enter the atmosphere?
Yep.
Right. So y'all feel the actually, because the ship is in space, the ship does dip down, and you start to feel the effects when you hit the atmosphere of the planet, as the ship now starts to shake a little bit on re-entry through the atmosphere. Bit of a bumpy ride.
I tighten my harness a little tighter.
And the buckle breaks.
I'm just gonna try to sit correctly in this seat and try to not fall out of it, and just try to ease up a bit and trying to get it to go a little smoother.
It is a commotion of noise and pings and pops. You kind of get the idea that this thing might fall apart on this reentry, but that moment does pass as it does kind of smooth out as the ship now streams through the atmosphere. Now, one thing to note is this is not built to do pristine work within the atmosphere. It can fly through it, but it's not meant for it really. It's really meant to land and take off, not do any evasive maneuvers. There are ships built to do that. This one is not. But on that note, you are within the atmosphere. You have free reign there, Talia. At the controls, you see there are no other ships around. Aurelius, you look at these scanners, and you're pinging back nothing except for, well, nothing. You have the metallic object in the soil, but no other scans of any other ships within the area. Nothing on radios either.
If you want, you can bring her down or not, but I'm thinking I might go look around and make sure that nothing serious broke. And she kind of stands up from the seat and starts walking off.
Okay.
Sure. Why not? I mean, you're just gonna leave without me answering? Sure.
You can fly it too. Don't give me that. And she just walks off down into the decks.
I think
Fucking hell.
All of a sudden, the ship does kind of bank a bit abruptly to port side. It bit throws you a bit off your feet. Beta, on your console in the cockpit, you get a ping on the console that there is a bit of a energy malfunction with some divergent coils to the port engine, making it underpowered, which is causing the ship to now turn in that direction abruptly.
What was that? Beta!
Well, you know that
Elliot!
repair that you did? We have to fix it again.
Oh,
But you know,
great.
Beta, you can actually reroute some power if you wish.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna do.
Okay.
And then if she tells me where it is, I'm gonna go immediately try to fix it.
I'll take it by power. We got it.
Well, I'll try to fix it, and then you can route it back in.
Here, give me 1 second, 'cause I want to see if this actually would bow with combined rolls, which I think it might. So let's go back to the list, go to core mechanics, and look at assisting. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. This is going to be mainly a routing issue, so I want the main roller to go ahead and be Beta. Oh, you can actually roll after they failed. So,
Nice.
that's actually kind of cool. So, this is what happened. Beta, as you start to reroute the power to the port engine, Talia's going to get to the console. You can kind of walk each other through it. But since you can do the assisting rolls afterwards, Beta, go ahead and roll first. So, you're going to roll your engineering. You're looking for a 14, which you
Whoa.
succeeded. So, some expert finagling, you're able to get the power, and you all feel the ship, kind of the hum of the port engine kind of reverberate through the shuttle or the ship as it starts to level off again.
Alright, I'm gonna try to get it working again. Hopefully nothing happens with you in the meantime. And I'm just gonna try to get it working again on its own power.
Do not roll yet.
Alright.
Now, there are modifiers to rolls. As I mentioned, the toolkit, the toolbox is one, but here's another big one that we've not used yet. This is description bonuses. So, they are GM given from a -1 to a +2 based on your narration of what you do.
Alright.
This is to get your creative juices flowing. If you tell me, I'm going to fix the mechanical box junction, I'm probably going to give you like maybe a -2 or just a straight no benefit. But if you tell me, I'm going to go ahead and pull the power from the gravity systems, have everyone in the cockpit fly up a bit and bang their heads, and then smash my wrench into the controls to make it work, I might give you +1 or +2 to the roll. It's a way to
I'm
encourage some roleplay. So encourage
Okay.
some
I'm
narration.
so fucked.
Tell me what this thing exactly is that's broken. Because that will kind of give me more ideas, because I can't just like spat out a bunch of stuff if I don't even know what I'm looking at.
This is a power relay from the engine to the core reactor of the ship. It is a nuclear reactor. I believe it's what Katorans use. But what you didn't realize is that Lucas Varnes, the corporate individual, actually installed a hidden coffee machine,
Oh my god.
which is what drew the power.
oh my fuck, I hate that man. And I'm going to walk over to where it is and try to disconnect it, and then spend time trying to get the relay to connect back to the engine, get the okay until I can get the power rerouted to it, and then after it's working on its own power again, I'm going to quickly just get the power rerouted back to our gunner, so if something happens, we won't get, like, destroyed.
Alright, long through description, I'll give you +1 to the roll. So, with your toolbox, and now for the +1, it'll be +2. So click on your +1 twice, and then click on your mechanics.
Mechanics.
Yes, fantastic. This will be with every skill roll in the game. I do not think it works with combat, though. It would be kind of weird if you just do combat a little better. But I believe it's all other skill rolls. So, yes, you're able to... now, we can go a bit more. I did mention this would have been a moderate difficulty, so it would have been 12. But because you got an 18, which is considered an impossible success, this would be like extra things happening. So what I could say is you not only reroute power and bypass the stupid coffee maker, but you're actually able to untangle some wires in the relay to boost the overall power of the ship that was being kind of thrown haphazardly around within the power relays to give a bit of a boost to the ship's engines.
I'm going to take this stupid coffee machine now that the ship has a little more power to work with. I'm going to bring it back up into the cockpit and plug it in somewhere else where I know it's not going to just, like, fry something.
Fantastic.
I'm just going to make myself a fucking cup of coffee.
Right, so Aurelius and Beta, you see Tyler come up carrying a big, just kind of box that gives off a bit of a an aroma, a fragrant scent.
Is that coffee? I smell coffee. Is that coffee?
Yes,
Aurelius is addicted to coffee, okay.
Yeah, and she looks at him with incredulously, she goes, yeah, and you want to know who the fuck it came from? It came from that little jackass down there who's sleeping and decided to hook it up to our fucking connectors.
And he didn't tell me?
Huh?
He didn't tell me we had coffee.
No, I didn't know until just now. Literally, that's the reason that our whole thing just dipped, is because this thing was taking up so much power down there, because it was so haphazardly connected, that it fried the whole thing. And
I'm going to kill that guy.
So, as we realize right now, everyone has a bit of issue with Lucas Varenz, or is it Varnes? With Lucas Varenz. But you kind of have to deal with them because, well, Lucas Varenz is a corporation individual. And because of that, his contact is actually the guy who is supplying this ship in the first place. So you kind of got to deal with them.
Yeah, I know. It's one of those things where it's just like, we know that we have to deal with him, but that doesn't mean that we're not going to shit-talk him while he's asleep.
Yeah, absolutely.
So she sits down, she plugs it in.
Can we push him out the airlock and just say we were attacked and it was an accident? I mean...
Tully kind of snickers as she's getting a cup of coffee and offers a cup to Aurelius.
I immediately take it and drink it in one sip.
I'm going to take this down to the engine. I'm going to try to make sure that nothing else is haphazardly connected or broken. And she like kind of strains when she says that. She goes, and then I'm going to come back up here and either the ship is going to be landed or I'm going to land it. Because we don't have a lot of time to waste trying to fix this damn thing.
I can make sure that we're landed, but it might not go through.
I can fly.
He can fly, he's just being a big baby about it. And she's gonna take a sip and then start walking out the door.
Okay. So, Aurelius, back to you at the controls. As you're flying this ship towards the location, you do see that you're following the pinging that's coming from the operations monitor, the sensors, and you see that the ping is emanating about ground level, even a little, maybe a couple meters below ground level that's showing on the sensors, but it is beneath heavy tree cover. You can't even see through it. But you do see a bit of ways off is a bit of a clearing, a bit of a small waterfall that is causing a break in kind of the foliage, a place that you're able to land the ship if you so wish.
Do they have some heat vision cameras? So I can try to see between the trees?
I'd imagine it'd probably be part of the universe, so I would say yes.
Then I would do that first.
You activate the sensors for heat vision, and it is showing cold. Actually, it would probably show like the heat of the jungle, and so I would say that's probably masking the ship itself, or wherever. I mean, obviously it's a ship, but it's probably masking whatever's there.
Okay, then I will carefully fly to the clearing and take it down for a smooth landing.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you a bonus for that. Go ahead and give me a command roll.
With a bonus?
No bonus, so just a straight command roll.
Okay.
Well, say you're playing easy difficulty, so 8. So you land the ship very, very fine. So you all feel the ship touch down, and with that you can power down the engines and go for a stroll.
Did I find anything that was seriously broken?
In which direction is the signal coming from?
Signal is coming from the southwest. And to you, Talia, besides the numerous patchworked operations or patchworked systems on the ship, nothing stands out as needing immediate attention.
Alright, yeah, and then I'll just head back up and step off. And she kind of, as she steps off the ship, she just kind of stretches her hands above her head, leaning back, and she's like, alright. It's been a while since I've been on planet. Been cooped up in that engine room so long that I'm starting to get a bit stiff.
I'm gonna slide outside and very quietly, is not stealthy per se, but as quietly as I can, I will first start by closing my eyes and just smelling what's around. Then I'm going to see if I can hear anything other than the crackling of the ship around us.
Or the cracking of any bones.
Cracking of the bones, yes. The things that I would do to... No, the smells that just don't smell foresty per se. And then, is there any specific way that the lights are coming through the trees to create shadows or something in the general area that would be interesting?
All right. A lot of things. All right. So, I'll be a big description bonus. I want you to go ahead and roll me an awareness roll at +2. Ooh, nice. Well, we're about to talk about the strong hits, but we'll go with that later. Anyways, because everyone's been passing the rolls anyways. Alright, so you hit the airlock to the ship as it kind of... The airlock opens up, you have a ramp that kind of goes down, a bit squeaky, but it hits the ground. You're greeted by the scent of this world. Definitely humidity, and a bit of a foul odor, actually, that hits your nostrils. It's not exactly pleasant.
Talia just kind of shrugs. Smells a lot like... The smell reminds me of the engine room, actually. Maybe I haven't really left too far from there. And she just kind of steps off onto the ramp.
I make it often comment saying, never gonna get out of that place, you know.
What'd you say?
You're never gonna get out of the engine room. You're always going back there.
And she kind of looks, she kind of turns around and walks backwards down the ramp. She's like, yeah, I know, it's the life, and my ancestors never really got out. She just kind of spins on her heel back around.
Absolutely. All right.
Is the smell specifically rotting flesh, or coming from a direct?
No, it smells like chemical cleaner, which is actually more in line with what Talia said.
Smells like the engine room.
It does smell like the engine room a little bit. A bit of an unusual smell to be smelling around here.
How so?
Well, the air just smells of it.
Sure, it's not just Talia you're smelling.
I mean,
Well,
she hears
the fact that it came from the outside, I'm pretty sure it's not Talia.
Yeah, no. I mean, she probably does smell of, like, oil and metal, but, like...
So, Beta, you look around. You do have... The ship is on a bit of a rocky cliff. It's very, very stable. You do see and hear the stream that goes to a bit of a waterfall, probably about maybe a 40, 50-foot drop a bit away from the ship. What gets your attention is that the water is actually a bit of a fluorescent blue. You got the trees all around. You can see a bit of the distance, and it does get into a bit of dense foliage. And you hear and you see a couple of birds off in the distance, maybe large, seeing how far away they are and the size that greets your eyes. But around you, nothing that is going to stand out besides the bit of the foul smell.
How long has it been that we've been in space, like, off-planet and such?
I would say probably maybe a good week.
She kind of looks around at the sound of the birds and is like, oh man, it's been a while since I've heard those little beasties. I wonder what they would taste like on this planet. And she kind of starts skipping off.
And you get a flashback, Talia. One of the memories of your ancestors on the homeworld of the Kaltorans called Eden. Mm-hmm. And it was actually considered probably the most beautiful world in the galaxy when the Archons ruled everything. It was kind of the jewel of the galaxy. And you go through the memories of your ancestors seeing the war erupt with the Nephilim, and as the Nephilim actually invaded and destroyed the entire surface of Eden. So you have memories of these birds in the distance, of these pristine, clear blue waters, oceans, these forests and trees. And then you get further flashbacks, memories of your ancestors leaving the planet's surface where it's nothing but just desert and rock as the Nephilim destroyed the entire surface of the planet.
So is this place very much like Eden?
No, nothing will compare to Eden. Just seeing the memories in your memory from your ancestors, this place doesn't hold a resemblance to Eden.
Alright, so after that she was about to skip off, and then she almost kind of stumbles and like steps, and she kind of just stops and stands there for a moment or two. And she kind of goes, you know what? Never mind. I'm not that hungry.
I have fun with that ability, or that little trait.
Yeah.
Alright, so we're at the other two of you. Beta and Relius, what are you two doing?
I'm going to just take a look towards where the signal is coming from and kind of just try to see if I can see anything that direction. Okay.
Your headset, everyone I believe has a headset if you go to inventory.
Yep.
The headset is a bit of a small little computer. It has communications relay, so you all can talk to each other within, I believe, 100 kilometers. But it does have a bit of a small UI displayed, and you're able to link it to the old records from the ship. Well, not really old, maybe like 10 minutes ago. But you can actually use like a bit of a compass to point you in the direction of the signal. Head southwest into the jungle.
Yep.
I stretch out my hand and kind of rub my spine glove and just lick my lips and like, we need to go that way.
Talia kind of lifts her head up and takes a smell of the air and goes, yeah, I feel like I almost could find it without the headset. But rules are rules, and she sets it up anyway. Well, and she kind of claps her hands together. Let's get going, crew.
I've already slithered off a little bit.
Yeah, I'm already moving it.
Alright, so as you all head off into the jungle towards the location of the ping.
They're going, well, let's get going, and we're like, bye.
And she just kind of turns, it's like, starts running after them.
You're noticing that the terrain on the rocky outcropping was fairly easy, but as you head into the jungle and as you get further in, it's starting to get rather treacherous. I would like to have one of you give me a survival roll to kind of lead the group to the pinged object.
Is that real? I don't know if I'm trained in that.
One of you is.
I don't know, but my mouse is working, so...
Would it be in
Get
primary
checked.
skills?
No, it's a primary skill. It's actually number 8.
I am trained.
I got it. I'm training it too.
Sure, you can do it then. No description? Alright.
Alright, so that'd be a -2, so it's a 6. Alright, so with...
Why -2?
Are two
Because
people
you
allowed?
described nothing, you just rolled it.
Are
Oh,
two,
You gotta tell me how you're going
to...
to help out through the trek through the jungle.
are two
Oh, I
people...
thought when you
Wait,
said that, I had to do that.
Yeah, he said to do it for every skill check. So,
Oh.
So what I want to
see.
judge is I need to dial it in and when I make it too much or too less. So I don't want to make you guys like rack your brains, but I have to do it every single time. So I'm kind of judging right now. So it's a work in progress.
Yeah, I just what was the situation again?
Since two people are trained in it, can we both make a check? Or at least in the future, if we're both trained in the skill?
I'll say this, because Aurelius already rolled, I'll make him the primary. I'll let you make an assisted roll. Even though it'll only give him a +1, I'll tell you what. What I was gonna have happen is you're all gonna take about 3 endurance damage as you're just kind of scraped up by the vegetation. If you do a moderate roll on your survival there, Talia, I'll reduce it to 2 endurance damage.
Alright, so as we're being led around in circles for a while, she just kind of looks around and is just like, that doesn't, wait, hey, and she just like is directing people away from sharp plants. But she can't catch all of them, so every so often we both all get nicked.
Alright, give me +1. So that would be a 9. Was not moderate though, unfortunately, so you're all gonna take 3 endurance damage.
Damn.
So here's how I'm gonna do this. I'm now throwing the combat tracker. So, if you look at the combat tracker, I will now wounds will all be at 3. He's all
And
traversing
if
the jungle and get scraped up.
If we hit our endurance, do we die?
No. I'll explain that when we get to it. But
Okay.
being at 0, endurance does not mean you're dead, no.
Wasn't
Okay.
it just like we start taking ability score damage?
Yes. Automatically, yeah.
Yep.
Alright, so after about an hour of a treacherous walk, y'all arrive at the scene of a ship. Fairly large, looks to be larger than your actual vessel. Probably can accommodate maybe 30 people, 30 passengers on this ship. You can't quite tell the make, but you know this thing is old, and you know from study and maybe from watching videos or knowledge, whatnot, this is definitely a Archon vessel. Maybe there's some runes, or maybe there's some writing on the ship that gives off,
Memories.
yeah, or you have memories of what they look like, Talia, so you're fine there. So it's definitely an Archon vessel. And y'all come out of the edge of the jungle, and you're just kind of covered in... Your clothing's a bit ripped from thorns piercing it. You're dripping blood from small spots on like your arms and your legs a little bit. But
I'm
nothing
covered
too
in
crazy.
armor.
I got tired of getting scratched, and my carapace kind of came out of my body and blocked the rest of the damage for a little bit, and I just start shrugging and kind of shaking it back.
But Beta, your carapace is actually for your vital spots, so it's not going to cover your arms. Just kind of cover like your chest, your neck, maybe your head a
I
little
know.
bit.
That's why I still got scratched.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
What about me then? Do I have armor on my arms and legs?
No, as you're traversing through the jungle, at one point Talia got ahead of you, and she pushed her branch away from her face as she was walking, and let it go as it just swing back into your face and slapped you.
And of course she laughed. Like she helped after, but she laughed.
Careful with a laugh. I can smash your head in with my bare hands.
That is true.
Hey, I'm still
Or,
helping you.
or just a monkey hands.
Hey, I'm still helping you, aren't I? I could have just walked off and not tried to bandage you. And after
You're laughing. You don't have to laugh.
She just, at that point, she stops bandaging. She just lets go of his face and then just kind of pats him and walks away.
All right. In front of you, you see the ship. Now, you can see that it is a bit crumpled. It looks like that when it impacted the planet, it did kind of fold a bit on itself. It does give remarkable testimony to their resilience, the fact that this thing didn't just crumple on itself and explode. It looks to be fairly intact. You see no openings on the ship. You do see a side, you see a port hatch. The airlock is currently closed, so for all intents and purposes, it does seem the ship is locked tight.
Can we force the door open?
As you approach, you hear a bit of a whirring. You're bzz, 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 as all around you, being blocked and being overgrown by vegetation, you see these turrets spring into action around you. You see 6 of them. A bit of a cordon set around the ship. A bit of a defensive emplacement. Very old, because you can see that some of them are rusted, some activate and then kind of stop from just being either blocked and wrapped by foliage that grew around it, or just by erosion and decay. But there's enough that do give you a bit of concern, as when we go into the first combat of the game, it's going to be Theater of Mind, make it a little easier.
I can just say, as soon as those turrets come up, I instantly dive behind cover.
Okay, we'll go into that. So here's how Theater of Mind works. I do not think there is initiative. Let me check real quick.
I'm gonna ask a question though before we start. Since these are mechanical devices, and I have memories of the Archon and about their ships, is it possible that if I got close enough to one, I could also just disable it?
We'll get to that. Because yes, you can, but maybe not the way you think. So, I want to check the Theater of Mind real quick. Alright, so here is how Theater of Mind works. I need to figure out who goes first.
Because, I mean, this would be something nice to possibly have. Just disable one instead of breaking all of them.
That can actually go into some more... actually, that's a good way to explain some of the stuff also, so that's actually good to think about.
But isn't just exploding them a different way of disabling them?
Oh, I know how this goes. Okay.
It may be easier to explode them possibly, but I mean, we're here to gather materials and such, and we're here to...
I'm not here to die.
Right, but I mean, well, yeah, I mean, I'm not saying
this can all work out well, so let me explain the mechanic real quick and how this works out.
I'm not saying all of us have to do that, I'm just saying I intend to do that to one or two of them.
Here's how Theater of Mind works in this game. You need to get a number of successes to have victory. The number of successes is equal to the number of players times 2. In this case, 6. I made it easy. 6 turrets, 6 players. So, there's no rounds. All of you go one at a time. Well, I guess there will be rounds still. All of you go one at a time. Now, being Theater of Mind, I set a difficulty number based on the situation. In this case, I will make it easy. No, I'll make it moderate. So I'll make it a difficulty of 12. Which means is you get to pick any trained skill or even a combat ability to roll. This does not use equipment modifications. Does not use any crazy modifications of equipment or skills. Just base skills, narration, and then a success. If you fail the roll, you do take damage. So, here's how we're going to do this. Make this easy. I'm going to go in left-right order from the top of the screen. So, Beta. As these turrets activate and they all swing in a direction, these all kind of stand out in the clearing, approaching the ship, what do you do?
My carapace armor stops, going in, flies back out, and I'm definitely looking for the nearest piece of cover near us. Are they in a circle?
They're in a circle around the ship. So there's definitely more than 6 of them, but around you, in immediate danger, there's 6 of them.
Okay, so it's not like I could dive behind one and have one of the other ones shoot.
No, you definitely no. It doesn't need to be a lot of narration, so you definitely dive behind cover. That will give you probably a +2 to the roll, or just the way you describe. It'll be in consideration to the bonus I give you on your roll. Because remember, the number is still going to be 12. You need to succeed on. You need to tell me what skill we want to use, and based on your narration, I will give you a bonus or minus.
Sounds like it'd probably be.
Looking for a tree that has fallen down, or anything that looks like it would provide cover to my size.
You definitely see trees that have fallen down when the ship crashed. They obviously are not alive no more, but they do provide ample coverage.
Yeah. I will roll, I guess. What am I? Am I one of the worms, or am I?
Oh, no. You're humanoid.
Okay.
You're presumed to play a humanoid Nephilim.
So I'll drop down to all four to scurry towards the tree, planting my hands onto it and slithering like we used to into the cover. The closest thing, I leave my hand up on top and point it towards one of the turrets. If they fire first, I will.
Okay. So here's what's happening. Based on what you told me, I would say this would be a roll based on your physical stat, which you're trained in. But because you didn't give me an example of how you would defeat the turret, I am going to give you -1 to the roll. But you did dive into cover as the turret shoots at you, so I'll give you a +1. So with that, I'll just make it a null modifier. Just go ahead and roll your straight physical stat. 12 is difficulty. Oh. All right. So you didn't roll any 6s, so you can't do any strong hit options. But you do have fate if you wish to. You can re-roll the dice pool, or because you did fail, you're going to take 2 damage to random attributes on your character sheet. So Theater Mind Combat does not go against endurance; it goes against actual attributes. Now, the good thing about Theater Mind Combat is bleeding is not in effect. So even if you go into negative, you won't start bleeding, but you will be in negative stats.
Yeah, I'll use the fate to block against that.
Alright, so double click it on your character sheet. And roll again. Much better. Alright. So you dive behind cover as one of the turrets erupts into gunfire. I'm not sure what kind of weapons Archons use, so let's go ahead and say it's energy weapons. So a couple of beams of energy spit out from the turret, brief linked energy bolts as they strike the area around you, causing a little bit of bonfires that start from the kind of dead and the dry vegetation around you. So it starts to light up a little bit, some fires, but you're able to get into fairly easy cover. Now, you did get a success, so I can't really say you destroyed the turret, but we'll just count it as a success either way, so. That is 1 success out of the 6 that we need. Alright, next we're going to go to Talia.
Is there any turret that's close to any kind of cover, like a tree or just like a rock or something?
Absolutely. This thing is covered in vegetation. So there's one next to a tree to get a bit of a cover, trying to give a bit of an opening to shoot someone that's unaware. You see it now since it is active, but yes, there's one next to a tree.
All right. I'm going to start rushing over towards the cover, trying to around, and as I'm running, to kind of focus on any flashes of memory I have regarding the Archon ships or turrets, and I'm going to slip a wrench out from my toolbox and once I get into cover, try to start looking at it and figuring out what I might be able to do to just disable.
Alright, so you're running in kind of a hunch, because you're carrying your toolbox with you. But as you're running, this thing's kind of loose off some bolts. You pull out your wrench. Nothing really quite gives you any memories. This seems to be kind of a basic turret that any race could actually use. Nothing specific to the Archons themselves. So, nothing really to give you boosts there. So I'll go ahead and give you a +1 to your roll, and I believe it'll probably be mechanics.
All right, that's 15.
That will do it. Yeah, so you go and you immediately because you use mechanics, what you're saying, you actually disable the thing without actually breaking it apart. So I'm going to note this down because I'm going to give you a resource. You'll understand what I'm going to say after this when I kind of explain it. But
Neat.
that is going to be a second success.
Hey.
All right. So Aurelius, you saw Beta jump into cover. Talia running with the wrench out from her toolbox, banging around as weapons fire goes around her. She dives into cover, and you see one of the turrets. You hear it just kind of and kind of power it down. What do you do?
Is there a rock or tree that I can take over behind nearby?
Any what?
Any
A rock
cover?
or a tree?
Yeah,
Yes.
that is
There's
my
some
size.
trees, some rocks, even a small hill.
I
With your
think-
big body. With your big body.
I
I'm
think
thinking
that
like maybe a barrel. It says DK on the side.
Okay. I instantly run and dive into the nearest cover that I can find. I take my array rifle and I aim carefully at the furthest away turret and shoot it.
Alright, and here's what you need to do. Because it does use ammunition, this might not see why this might be relevant. Go ahead and go to your character sheet. Go to the More Core tab. You see where it says ammo?
Yes.
So you'll see a circle and then a rectangle. Double click the rectangle. Alright, use some ammo. Open fire. So go ahead and roll your under the rolls where it says rail rifle attack, do that at +2.
How do how do I add to?
Bottom left, the modifier box. Click on it, +2, mouse wheel. There's ways to modify it.
I don't see the modifier box.
Bottom left of the screen. Bottom left of
What
the
is-
Fancy Grounds interface.
Oh, the plus how much?
+2.
Plus 2. Okay.
That will do it. So you see Aurelius kind of just calmly rush to some cover, kneel down, aim with the rifle, and just a quick shot as the turret just explodes into a bit of a fireball. All right.
The first away, farthest away.
The furthest one away, yes.
Yes.
All right, so that's going to be 3 successes. So now we're going to go back over to Beta.
Well, now
In
that
fact, just to go ahead and make it a little easy, Beta, you did point out the turret you're next to Aurelius through the comms, and you have Aurelius actually open fire and destroy that one. Not going to use ammunition because it actually wasn't his turn, but that will kind of take care of yours that you're talking about.
Okay.
Unless you wanted to retcon it and just go with it.
Well, I was thinking if it's shooting at me, then I shoot back.
Okay, go for it. Well, that could be another one. So either way, either way you had one success. So everyone has 3 successes so far. So if everyone has a success this round, you defeat this encounter.
Rate of fire is how many times I can shoot.
So it's how many extra dice you can add. So rate of fire 1 means you can only have 1 dice, so it's 3d6. A rate of fire 4 will use 2 ammunition, but you roll 4d6. And a rate of fire 3 will use 3 ammunition with rolling 5d6. That's all it means.
And spray fire, does that give me a chance to hit more than
Don't worry
one?
about any of that right now. I'm not using any of that right now.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna count that
Like-
I'm gonna count that into your description. So
Well, if spray fire lets me hit more than one, I'm gonna drag my arm across my tree.
but that's gonna be
and
narration, as
spray
I said.
3
So you only need to be able to get 1 success. So
Okay. Then
So you can fluff
we'll
it that
go with-
way, but you can say you destroyed 2 of them, but still only count as 1 success. But I might give you a bigger bonus for saying that, so.
dragging my arm across the tree, I squint one of my eyes and letting the glove do its work. I basically point at all of the turrets that I want it to spray. and very lovingly let it do its job.
So I don't know what it sounds like, but these are like living weapons. So I imagine you just kind of hear maybe like a squelch or something as these like spines launch out of the weapon.
Think of a tiny giggle escapes my lips as the chittering from my hand becomes a little bit louder with a couple of.
All right.
How do I add 2d6 to my roll?
No, actually, I kind of described that a bit wrong. I'll go through right now. I have to see if that actually works out correctly. But just say if you did use rate of fire, how many ammunition were you going to use?
Well, it says rate of fire 3, so all 3 of them.
Okay, so what I want you to do is double-click your ammo, which is not even on it right now. So give me a second to find what ammunition your weapon has. So it is a clip of 4 with a ammo 15. I know people would get triggered by me saying clip and not magazine, but I'll go with what the rulebook says. So double click where it says ammo 15 3 times. Fantastic. Now, what I want you to do, I don't have it in here, so I need to make it. I'm going to make another spine glove attack. That's going to say times 3. Which is going to be 5d6. There you go, on your character sheet. Wow, that is a horrible roll. I need to see. Yeah, that's just a horrible roll.
Yeah.
All right. So, are you gonna use a fate, or are you gonna take this, Beta?
I'll take this one.
Okay. So you see Beta raise up her spine launcher and or spine glove, and give off some shots. And she actually does destroy 2 turrets as she gives off kind of a salvo from her spine glove. But another turret that was hidden, possibly inert or trying to activate, being covered by foliage, breaks through the cover, and behind you, Beta, you get a clear line of sight and just fire some bolts into your back. So, because it's theater of mind, this ignores all armor, stuff like that. You just get straight 2 damage, and I'm going to roll right now locations. So, first one's going to be your reflexes. Actually, because it doesn't show. Did I roll? Did it show reflexes or no? Or just show 2?
That's it, table crit.
Okay, to make it easy, I want you to go ahead and roll it. So, Beta, go ahead and go to your sheet where it says strong hit options. Double click it twice. Alright, so your movement is going to take a hit as well as your strength. So, what I want you to do is. I'm seeing it. Fantastic. Alright. Now, these attributes are like current, so this will drop your current attributes down by taking these kind of damages. So, hurts a little bit. But we can do some healing rolls afterwards. Alright, now it goes to Talia.
So, how far away was that one that just shot her?
Probably from you, maybe
Pretty far.
No, we'll make it fairly close. We'll say it's within 4 or 5 meters.
Alright, so it was just the next one over. So I'm just gonna follow the cover that I've been using.
Alright.
Check my toolbox as I'm running, and then having disabled the first one and knowing how it works now, I'm going to just try to go ahead and disable that one too before it can take another shot.
Okay. Same thing, +1, because you're doing the same thing, so I'm going to give you a little less. So +1 and do mechanics again.
Woo!
Oh, very good. All right.
Oh, retaliation mechanic.
Super good success. All right.
Attack my
All right. It's 4 successes. Aurelius, it's on you now.
How closest is the closest turret?
To you, probably about 20 meters. Actually, might be really far. We'll make it like 10 meters.
Do I have? Am I stronger than normal people? Like, could I like smash it with my hands like a gorilla?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I will say this, though. It uses your exotic skill, which I do think, yeah, you're trained in exotic, so you're fine. Yeah, melee is the exotic weapon skill.
Okay. In that case, I rush out of my car and just leap at the closest turret and smash it with both my fists.
Okay.
Closed fists are like I'm holding my hands together in one big fist.
Alright, so +2 to the roll. Go ahead and roll it as you see Aurelius jump out like a damn big gorilla. Flying through the air. Oh! Fist come down and just smashes the turret into the ground.
He went Winston mode.
Yes.
Alright, now it goes to Beta. I think I need one more success to win this. You did get shot in the back, but Talia did take care of the one that was shooting you as he turned around.
With an angry scream, I look for the nearest... No, that's not going to work. I was thinking I look for the nearest tree and make it fall. There's nothing biochemical about that. Alright,
Hey, if you want to drop a tree on a turret, go for it.
I'm just going to stand up, and all of the spines and hair on my back is going to stand on end, and I'm going to let out a blood-curdling scream and directly point at only one turret that I really, really don't like, kind of away from the others. And
the only one left.
one spine is just going to fly from my finger and spiral directly down its barrel, I hope.
Okay, +2, just a straight base spine glove roll. Man, he's just not gonna look good right now.
Oof.
It'd help if I was like more of a combat character, but whatever.
I mean, I'm making do. I'm doing weird shit.
Oh, you're getting really bad rolls. You can't even use it. You didn't get a crit either, so that does kind of suck.
I'll fix myself. It's okay.
All right, at least you're the medic, at least. Go ahead. So you, unfortunately, as you aim, this thing's already looking at you, and it just you kind of rise up, scream right when it shoots you with its own bolts. It was predicting your movements. So go ahead and roll 2 more locations against yourself. Ooh, another strength. And focus. All right.
Tully's just gonna watch as this happen and has some flashes of memory for a second and just kind of cringes.
All right, goes to Talia. It's on you.
She just kind of goes like hissing and kind of starts trying to duck around over and to get to that one as well, and just kind of dumps some tools out of her kit in the process and just like grabs a screwdriver and just tries to disable it a little more violently this time. I'm so serious. Just jams it in.
Disable it with prejudice.
At this point, it'll be at -2.
Really? Why
Yes.
is that?
You did mechanics the entire 3 times.
Well, I was just trying to, this time I'm basically not even just trying to disable it carefully, I'm just trying to fucking jam a screwdriver in it and break it.
Okay, -1.
I can't do that, so we'll just see what it, it's a 10.
You did roll a 6, though, which allows you to re-roll that 1. It's a strong hit.
Alright, so do I just roll a d6?
Yep, roll d6 set. Alright, that'll actually give you 2 to 12. So you jam your screwdriver into the turret lens and break it.
And as it starts getting disabled, she just fucking starts kicking it on the ground. Just kicking this stupid thing.
Alright. As you look around, you see the 6 turrets that are around you. Actually, it would have been 7 because one did pop up around Beta. But you all destroy the turrets that are kind of looking in your area, your direction. And after a couple minutes, you do feel fairly safe. So that is an example of theater of mind combat in the system.
Talia is just heavily breathing and just starts walking around and picking up all her tools.
All right, so how do healing rolls? Let's find out now. So,
I assume since there were technically more of them than just what we fought in that combat, I assume over the course of this, all Talia's tools got like scattered.
pretty much, you're walking around picking up like wrenches and like screwdrivers from all over the ground. You're like throwing stuff around.
What's 9 in primary skills?
What's what?
9 in primary skills.
Oh, okay. So that's the okay. So I need to explain this. So that 9 with the line is actually just a break. It's just nothing. What it represents is skills 1 through 8 are considered everyday skills, where you just know what you just do. Skills 9 through 16 are actually professional skills, something you actually would have gone to school for, had a mentor, trained. That's what those represent. What it means, though, is that toolkits do not help with everyday skills, but toolkits help with professional skills.
I studied psychology.
And as for the professional things, it's like, you know, you go to school for that and all that. Unless you're me, which I just know all of this stuff because other people did the training for me, essentially.
Show off. You know, you didn't do anything to learn that.
I didn't.
So it's kind of cheating.
It is. But I mean, I also constantly have flashes of horrible memories of all of the kinds of genocide and horrible destruction of the world and my entire planet and the cannibalization of my own race and hundreds of years around.
You deserve those memories.
Thank you. She just smiles and drops another tool into her box.
Alright.
You missed one over there.
So now I'm going to explain a couple mechanics. And these are going to be a couple big ones. Now, loot. Or in this case,
you mentioned
resources. So what you might have seen if you look through the inventory of your character sheet is that there's no credit or gold or kind of currency. You have the two main currencies of Fragged Empire is resources and influence. And the third one called spare time points, which I'll get to in a second. Influence is used to influence a proprietor to give you a spaceship. So your current influence is actually what results in how you build your spaceship. All it's really used for. The more influence you have, the better ship you guys can build. It is pooled together as a group. In this case, everyone has 3, so your spaceship is built with the influence rating of, well, technically 4 players, but that's 4 characters. So with 3 each, so that's 12. So your spaceship is built with the influence of 12. Resources are what you actually use to maintain equipment, that being weapons, items, gear. This doesn't represent credits, but it can. It represents just your knowledge in maintaining the game, buying extra gear. It's based on the fluff and how you kind of want to write it off. If you're a corporate guy, it's you literally just buying weapons whenever they break down. If it's like Talia, who's a mechanic, it's her just repairing stuff non-stop.
Mm-hmm.
Beta, it can be a combination of both. Aurelius could be extra weapons, maybe like in his starship, stuff like that. So it's just kind of where you want to fluff it. The way it works out, though, is every item in the game costs resources. So a gun can cost 1 resource. A outfit, armor, can cost 1 resource. That's 2 out of your 3. You can exchange whenever it's at a good moment, like if you're at a shop or if you're at like a weapon shop or your spaceship. You can change out any weapon you want in the book, as long as it's relevant and it makes sense. So you can build gear, you can customize a guy really, really well. And obviously you can't do it if you're like in the middle of space in a spacesuit stranded. I'm not going to let you exchange your gear because it wouldn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the other one is called spare time points, STP. I haven't put a location for this yet. Actually, I have. It's on the More Core page where it says spare time. It's the end of the ammo. Spare time is a combination of downtime, credits, cash, stuff like that. You gain a spare time point, usually, well, you do gain a spare time point at the beginning of every session, like you do Benny's in Savage Worlds. So I'm going to go ahead and give everyone a spare time point right now. And this is why it's relevant. To acquire some gear and to do some skills actually requires you to use a spare time point, succeed or fail. So, to go to the healing, to use a medical kit to heal someone does require a spare time point. Now, there are two ways I can reward the machinery that Talia has actually just assembled some turrets. There are two ways to do this. Is I either give you a spare time point, or I give you a trade box of spare parts. I want you to follow me real quick. Spare parts, trade boxes, are how you actually increase your resource, to increase how much gear, how much customization you can put into the gear. To gain one resource point to one individual requires you to go ahead and, I believe, trade in 16 boxes of trade goods. So Talia got one box of trade goods from destroying these turrets. That's one way to get loot and stuff like that. You get trade box. In this case, because I want to go with the healing, I'm going to give Talia one spare time point. These cannot be shared with other players unless it is a healing roll. So, yes. Talia, I'm going to go ahead and give you another spare time point on your character sheet. You'll see two now. And I do believe that Beta might want to heal herself with her medical kit.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
What gives you that idea?
Right, so, Beta, you can either use your own spare time point, Jeff 1, or you can ask Talia nicely to use hers, since she did get one from the turret. Either way, what it doesn't require is a roll of medicine. It is a base difficulty of 12. If you succeed, you heal 3 attribute points. You took 2, so you heal everything.
I took 4.
Did you take 4? Okay, well you heal everything except for 1 then, at this point.
I'm not trained in it, so I can't really help, can I?
You could help by bringing me parts of bug pieces or anything that I might be able to use that looks healing-like. Or you can stand there and I'll put the box down here. You hold the mirror since I have to do everything at my back anyways, except for the 2 things that are on my front.
She kind of thinks for a second and can I think of any memories that might include, like, bugs or plants that are medicinal?
Real correction. I need to retcon something because I just realized I made a mistake. So let me go do this real quick. There are several ways to do healing rolls.
Oh.
One is called paramedics. It does not require a spare time point. It is free. It does not cost anything. Does require a toolkit, does require the medical kit, which you already have. And it is the same, 3 attributes. You do what's called extended care, which is actually doing downtime. So like between like star systems, that uses a spare time point, but you heal 1 attribute point to every single attribute. So in this case, it does not cost anything, but you can heal yourself for free, Beta.
Yeah, I still need to do the roll though, right?
Yes.
Did I get a +1 because of my first aid kit?
+2.
Even though I'm not trained, can I assist in whatever ways I can? Like, can I try to use my memories from my ancestors to think of, like, medicinal plants I can try to look for?
Okay, so.
I know it's not the same planet, but I feel like I might have ideas about, like, certain properties of plants.
It's just me do a bit of my narration. I would let you do your thing, but because it is Beta and Nephilim that did eradicate your people, I'm going to put it at -1. So it's going to be any type of skill check you think would be relevant. Difficulty is always, as an assist, is always 10.
Let's look through what I have. I mean, I'm trained in survival.
And they did ask you to look for some insects and stuff like that. So go ahead and roll me survival at -1.
Alright, so that is a 9.
Not gonna do it, unfortunately.
The flashes are just, they get too violent and I just can't focus.
Yeah. Alright, so, Beta, you're gonna try to hear yourself. Looking for the 12 number. Alright.
Hey.
You got it. Alright, so you can heal up to 3 attribute points of your choosing.
As you're just sitting there bandaging yourself, Talia is just standing there thinking, and she just keeps like cringing every so often. She's just like, eventually she just goes, I have to go sit down. She just walks
It's
away.
not your fault, but
She just walks.
2 to strength and 1 to focus.
Yeah,
Okay.
She walks away and sits down, and just kind of starts messing with her tools, making sure they're not busted.
Alright, now, everyone will see on the character sheet their focus. Now, Beta, I do believe yours is 1 little bit less from what you mentioned. In middle of combat, you can actually recover endurance. So, just make this easy. I want everyone right now, because just you have your adrenaline's kind of calming down from this scuffle with the turrets around this Archon ship. Go ahead and heal everyone's endurance by their current focus.
Still
Can
down
you
by
do that? Can you do that for me? My mouse is
Sure.
kinda not working.
Yeah.
Alright, so you will go down to 1 wound out of the 3 you had.
I also go down to 1.
So if my focus is 4, mine goes away.
Yeah.
Nice. You got lots of focus.
Oh, sorry, no, okay, sorry, your movement was left at a little bit lower.
So I wasn't able to.
I can't change my
Oh,
wound.
I guess it's me. Okay, so Beta's at 1, and then... Sorry, Beta's at 0, Talia's at 1. Alright.
Yep.
Okay. But now you have the port side of the Archon ship in front of you. No more turrets are activated around you. You assume there's going to be more around the ship on the other side. But you're probably going to leave those alone. Beta, what are you rolling for?
I clicked it, I'm sorry.
Okay. Alright, so what do you all wish to do?
After I've kind of calmed back down, after trying to get my head cleared again, I'm gonna stand back up and start looking around for the entrance to the actual ship, or somewhere where I can.
Oh, it's very obvious. There's a very obviously clearly marked hatch on the side. Closed, though.
Right, but doesn't.
Yeah, I was moving to that when the turrets came up. Remember? That's why they came up, because of me. Yes, I'm moving. I need to look.
Yeah, I'm going to go over to the hatch and see if I can't get it open.
Right.
And I guess.
There is no power within the ship, so it
Figured.
is currently under pretty much no power. So it'll probably be a mechanical leverage mechanism to open it, because they probably would have that. So, what do you wish to attempt?
Monkey, grab pull.
So there's. Well, wait. You said like a mechanical leverage. Is that like a? What is that? Is that like emergency power? Or is that like a panel?
I want to picture there is a giant lug nut on the hatch of the door. You can actually, with a giant wrench, actually open up by turning. I'm picturing that submarine video I watched a while back. How they did that there. I'll do the same thing.
I'm going to dig through my tools for a minute and just kind of shake my head a few times. Have just big. And she's just like, she's going to spend a few minutes like just searching through her tools, and she eventually gets a wrench that can get big enough, and she kind of puts it onto the lug nut and starts trying to pull on it and leverage it.
Alright, this will be, I don't know if it was to be mechanics. It's probably be actual, strength.
Woof.
Can I help with that?
Whoa, too late.
She already got it. But yes, you can, go ahead and roll, help roll also, Relius. Roll your strength.
See how quick we get this done. You just like, he just walks over and she's like, I got this.
Okay. Well,
got a strong hit. You can actually roll that too if you wanted to. Reroll that. Go for even higher if you wanted to.
Oh my god, go even higher, go even higher.
Wait, one more time?
No, just roll a d6.
Yeah, because
D6.
you rolled a 6 on that die. That would be considered a strong hit. You can use that to re-roll one of your dice.
Since I rolled a 6 too, couldn't I also reroll mine? Could I reroll mine as well since I rolled a 6 as well?
So yours went lower. Aurelia's actually stayed the same, so.
Yeah.
But either way, both those were enough. So, you put the wrench over this giant like nut on the door, and you start pulling. You got a 15, so you did pretty good. And Aurelia's just comes up with one hand, just swings the rest of the way, and the thing just swivels, and you can actually hear a hiss as it depressurizes. You kind of hit with a bit of very, very stale air. No smell to it. It's been probably long enough. But the door does actually open up partly.
So when the door is forced up so suddenly, the wrench is kind of ripped from her hands. It like flies up. She's like, ah! And the wrench comes back down. She like hops and slams onto the ground. She just kind of looks and is like, thank you. And picks up the wrench and puts it back in the box.
Maybe next time I should do it instead.
I mean, I could have done it too.
Sure, you
Being like
should.
fingernails with the spine that I picked up from wherever it.
What are you trying to do, Beta?
Cleaning my fingernails, just cleaning
Okay.
myself and being hurt over here.
You're not that. You're limping a little bit.
It's enough to slow me down a little bit.
It will slow you down, actually. If it's actually in combat, it actually will slow you down. But yes, you do have the interior of the Archon ship to investigate.
Holly is gonna look over the shutter toolbox, clip it back to the bag, and look over at Beta in the distance and go, "Hey, we got the door open!
I got the door open.
I helped."
Alright,
I
what do you
walk
three wish
over.
to do?
And join the party entering the.
I walk in first.
First thing I look for is a engineering panel to turn the lights on or take the power away from the turrets and put it towards like generic life support.
Ah, where's one thing in your investigation? The turrets weren't actually connected to the ship. They're under their own power. Yeah, Archons had very, very good fuel cells. Like I said, no one really has the technology the Archons had, because y'all went kind of in the Stone Age. So their technology just is better.
So, what you're saying is that someone placed the turrets around the crash ship?
I have a question then. So, if this place is kind of low on power, can I walk out and try to one of the ones that I safely deactivated? Can I go and just like take the power cell from it and try to see if I can't try to connect it to somewhere in the ship, get a little power going?
Probably would not be enough. Even if you got all the turrets around the ship, it probably would not be enough to power anything in the ship itself.
All right. Just wondered if I could get
Does
some
the
lights
ship have
on.
any fuel in it, or do I even find an engineering panel for that?
So in my mind, that's what I have you kind of at the entrance. He's about to walk in. So to get to a panel, we probably need to go a bit into the ship. So
All right. We'll just stay.
I step back and gesture, let others go first.
Yeah, I mean, I intend to stay behind the big monkey man
Kind
anyway.
of scratching my chest and my back a little bit.
Tully is just like, I mean, if the big lug wants to go in first, then he's going to be our meat shield, and I'm completely okay with that.
it's what he was meant for. It's what he was built for, literally.
Yeah. At this point, she's just stating a fact. So she just kind of crosses her arms, stands next to Beta, and just kind of motions. In like the Kanye style, just like motioning with both hands to the door for the monkey man.
Right. You walk into the ship. It is impossibly dark. Although it was sealed, so there's really no dust laying around. But your footfalls echo along the plating as you walk into the interior. And it is very, very noticeable immediately that this is a ship from a different era, because as the tub, your ship is made up of several ships kind of glued together. This ship is an actual ship by a very, very premier race at one point, kind of your father race, and it shows because everything is kind of immaculate and with function. All the power down, it's a very, very stark contrast to your own vessel.
I'm sure I can remember what this
There's
place
no
was.
coffee machines plugged in.
I'm sure I could probably remember what...
Coffee.
Oh my fucking god. I was gonna say, I'm sure I could probably remember what this place might have looked like when it was active from one of my ancestors, but after Beta said that, I just immediately think about that stupid coffee machine again.
You get a picture of Archon coffee in the galley. That you get. Now, roughly the Kaltorans did actually like Archon coffee, so you actually have your ancestors' memory of kind of spitting it out.
So she's just like thinking about this, and as we're walking, you hear Talia just go, ew.
Yeah, and since the corporation absolutely hate the Archons, their father race, because, well, they were deemed pretty much...
They were deemed to be impure, like to
but pathetic compared to a pathetic build of a race. So the corporation built their own coffee. So they knew the formula to the Archon's coffee recipe, and they made their own.
Nice.
Which thankfully actually the Kaltorans like. So.
Yeah, I had some on the ship earlier. That stupid coffee machine.
All right, but as you get within the ship, you're not greeted by any turrets that kind of spring out of nowhere, and pretty much you have kind of free reign. Now, as you do investigate the ship and you go through its systems and whatnot, you do find that the ship itself was stripped for parts. Presumably, what you're kind of getting is that this ship probably fell during the later parts of the Great War between the Archons and the Zions, and it was pretty much left here to just be left alone, but they did take all the spare parts they could actually take off this ship. Now, the good news about this, though, is the fact that, well, what the Archons thought was not really needed to themselves with their current technology to all of you is really nice. So, the loot you would find from this Archon ship, I'd probably give you guys about maybe 4 trade boxes of goods. This would be miscellaneous equipment between actuals like tools, to some extra tablets, to maybe a couple headsets, to even a couple like manuals. Stuff you can actually use to gain resources.
Hmm.
So even though it won't be relevant later on, I'm going to go ahead and go to inventory and put in... So far, we have 4 trade boxes.
Talia just like with the manuals like sits down and she's like, oh hey, I remember this thing, and just like is fangirling about the stupid manuals.
Right. And then the other good thing is going through the... You realize that going to the ship... Actually, no, we can talk about this a little bit. So, because I do kind of wrap this up a little bit. Going through the ship, you're able to get a minuscule amount of power from the drive core of the ship, which to you, Talia, is beyond your just kind of comprehension. You have no idea how this thing operates. But you're able to activate it a little bit and realize there's probably about 1% power left in its drives, which can keep the ship operational for about 10 minutes. And so you activate the engines as Beta is in the cockpit, furiously downloading any information she can. And Beta, you're actually able to gain some information about what's called a stellar wind drive engine system that this ship uses. Now, here's how this is relevant. So I'm going to go to the parcel items. We have 1 stellar wind drive.
Since our ship is like a conglomeration of parts, our ship. I feel like was I the fucking one who helped put that ship together? I feel like, because you mentioned that Kataran's ships tend to be like that.
Since your race went into space 5 years ago, yes, this could have been one you personally put together.
Nice.
Why do you think you had to fix it all the time?
Because the parts we used weren't exactly great. Not a lot to work with when you're working with parts from the aftermath of a giant war.
Excuses.
Okay.
Not much to work with when you're working with 100-year-old war-broken stuff.
So, you look in the party sheet. You'll see that there are 4 trade boxes of Archon parts. These are used to, as I mentioned, increase your resource as a group.
Yoink.
I can find the party. Wait. Yeah.
So,
they find.
This actually will go to you. You guys wouldn't carry this yourself because they're actually like giant crates of stuff. These actually will go on your ship. Now here's what the stellar wind drive information can be used for, which is why I like the system also. So, this will let you start research on a stellar wind drive. Here's the 2 results that happen from this. You actually need to spend game time, by using the spare time points to research this stellar wind drive. At the culmination of, I think, 8 or more, it's some number of information about the stellar wind drive, you gain secret knowledge. The secret knowledge could be to actually develop a stellar wind drive for your starship.
Ooh, I'm willing to dump 2
So you
points
can prototype devices in the game. Or you can go ahead and sell it to gain influence. You can give it to your proprietor, the one that sent you out to gain technology. You give him the information for the stellar wind drive, and you increase your influence to get a bigger starship. Or to get bigger weapons. Like I said, the stellar wind drive, I need to read the rules a little bit more to understand, but I do believe that's what it could be used for.
Quick question. Couldn't she make a prototype and give the information?
Am I allowed to do both? I don't... Because I'm sure we'd have copies of the information. Maybe I could offer... You know what? Here's what I'll say. Maybe I can offer to our proprietor, since I am a mechanic, and I have certain memories of some Archon technology here and there, and we have a bunch of parts. I can maybe offer, I'll give them this information and offer my services in working on the researching it and making prototypes and such.
Let me see what secret knowledge does real quick before I say anything. I know the main thing for research is to gain influence. The secret knowledge...
I mean, if we're working for this proprietor anyway, I feel like, just accomplishing this mission is probably pretty big anyway. So, we've proven that we can do things, that we know what we're doing.
Yes. So a reward for just doing this could possibly increase your influence also with the person. That'd be another way to actually increase your influence. Is by doing that. It's by completing mission also. And you also he might automatically give you a increase to your resources. But another way to gain influence is to go ahead and research a topic like the stellar wind drive and then publish it to get influence. But I am not quite sure about the secret knowledge. Because actually, now I'm looking at it, you do have prototype weapons, but I don't know if you have prototype gear, so I could be wrong about that. But yeah, the big thing about researching is to go ahead and increase your influence. And because I did mention that this is from a proprietor, this is out, so he might give you increased influence also, as well as I guess he might reward you with some spare time points for free, as well as some trade boxes. So it's something I kind of need to confirm and reaffirm as I read into this. But that does actually kind of make me have to end it here. But this gave me a bit of a rough understanding, which we couldn't get into structured combat, unfortunately, or the actual combat, tactical combat rules. But it gave me a good understanding of a bit of the base rules. So I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream right